And welcome to Beyond the Baller, episode number
14, I think.
14.
Is it
Done a few now, eh?
Ah, we're flying, man.
Thank you to Annandale Home Improvements for sponsoring us once again and continuing to support us. This episode is called Calling Things Out. So things that we've noticed, because we've not done it since Cammy Bell, really, haven't we? No, it's
No, we haven't done much on our own.
Yeah,
it's been a lot of guests. 3 guests on.
So we have noted things that have been occurring and things that sort of need to be spoke about in the grassroots game and academy sort of side of things as well. So in the world of ballers, football coaching, ballers youth academy, what's happening? First of all,
starting a new team up, aren't we?
Brilliant.
Under 7s, 2019s.
What made us do that? Tell everybody.
I think it's because we want to try and lay a stamp on how we want the game to be coached from a young age and give everyone a chance to develop technically from the first touches, if you like. A lot of them have been playing probably 2 years now, the younger ones, because some of them are ages 6 and 7.
Yep. And, carry on.
We just want to try and lay our stamp on them technically, get them in young and see how they develop over the next 2 or 3 years before that pro youth signing stage comes.
What else has been happening? Anything else?
I had a holiday, didn't I?
You were on holiday, so
that's
delayed us.
Delayed us, yeah. Not nobody else. We've been busy, haven't we? It's just been busy with running sessions weekly, to be honest.
Yeah.
Nothing extravagant, just chipping away, aren't we?
That's it. Okay, so let's start then. We are obviously said this has got called Calling Things Out, and this is in no particular order.
No, it's a
mixed bag here. So the note that we had made when we were noting for the preparation for the episode is, why is the guy with the incorrect stud touch, why is his information so listened to when he's not providing the correct context?
Yeah, so we've had the chat about this guy, and I think what people said was, and he came out on a different podcast and said they get a lot of online hate, and I'm completely against that. Mind you, I've faced online hate and as soon as you put yourself out there in the public eye, you need to kind of accept that's going to happen, because not everyone's going to agree with you. So I've accepted people aren't going to agree with me. I'm talking about Scottish football as an English guy.
Aye, and everybody hates you.
Everyone does generally hate that, because they think I've got an agenda against Scottish football. I live in Scotland, so I haven't got my agenda is to make the game better. There's no other reason, and I'll call out anything I see online, and that's what happened with this guy. I actually think that he's an extremely good mentor. I don't particularly think he's an extraordinary technical football coach, but I think he's great as a mentor for children, because a lot of his messages are correct. And what he's saying about work ethic and blaming other people and everything, I think he tries to give a lot of empowerment to children, and I love that. So I'm not here to give him online hate one little bit. What I'd say is his message about the stud role, the stud control was horrendous. It was poorly displayed. It was poorly exampled by him. The demonstration was awful. So I don't particularly think he's a fantastic technical football coach, but I think he'd be a great kids mentor. And I think that's why he has so much followers.
Yeah.
What I'd say was, I think he does a lot of clickbait. I think that's what he tried to do as well, is that he tried to do a little bit of clickbait on never do this. The words never and don't, when you're teaching technical football skills and rotations and everything else, they would never leave my mouth. The word never should never leave your mouth when you talk about technical work with a child.
The word never should never leave your mouth.
You love that, don't you?
I love it. Yes. So where I think that goes is the misinformation thing. There's a load of it.
Not just him.
No.
Oh my God, there's loads of it.
I think the guy does a good job, because he's obviously got a group of kids there, and he's trying his best to try and make them as good as he can. And the context was important regarding that, because if you're receiving that ball and and you lift your foot and you try and use your studs, it's going to slip under it maybe, potentially. So the context has to be right, because depending on the age and the stage of the player and the different
situation.
things, yeah.
But he's right what he was saying in terms of, if I'm working with a development player, because I think that's what a lot of his clientele are, the lower end of development.
But we don't know, do we?
I've seen videos of him, so
right, okay.
He is working with that, and that's, by the way, I think he's great to work with them.
Yeah.
Because I think he brings so much enthusiasm to it. His energy is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But the situation wasn't correct. He's saying never use it. That's incorrect information.
Okay. Modern coaching landscape. The volume outweighs value, and young coaches end up confused because the loudest person rarely provides the correct context, is where I've sort of put my rationale behind all that. So young coaches entering the game, there's huge following for some content creators, etc. Just be very cautious about how you model yourself and who you sort of take lead from, is where I would say for young coaches.
Do you think that the boy Josh, do you think he's going to be a good mentor for the technical football coaches about to step into the game? Do you think that a lot of people would model themselves on him? Maybe
some people that enter the game at 16 years of age sees the following and says, I like that, I like the sound of how he describes things, and
I love the way he pitches himself.
No, the confidence is great, the confidence is amazing, but I just... where I'm aiming for is those entering the game and who you're taking your sort of modelling yourself on. Just be careful regarding that as well, and you'll find your own way. But everybody looks at social media. So, but
I would give my advice to that, right, is although we all try and take... So last night when we worked with last night's Wednesday night session, I copied a 1v1 drill from Liverpool. So I watch a lot of Liverpool's training sessions, and we can't mirror what they do because they're working with the elite level of football, and we're working with 12-year-olds. So I couldn't do the exact same session, but I robbed an idea and put my own spin on it. And I want people to remember that you can still be authentic and still be yourself. Don't try and pitch yourself like what someone else would do. Don't try and pitch your voice the exact same way they would do, because that's not how this works.
That's where I was going with the boy Josh is doing his own thing. That's great, absolutely great. Just model yourself on how you think it should be, and don't plagiarise. And that comes into a discussion that we've got here. Plagiarism surrounding social media. I'll be honest with you, and I don't like blowing smoke up your backside, but I think you are very good at the social media side of things, how we put things out there and things like that. You're good at editing and sort of production of social media content, let's call it, right? So you've got that coaching ability, but you've also got that background of where I think you're quite strong in the social media effect. But what I also see is, once you've created a post, there's coaching organisations that plagiarise it. Similar type posts that you've done. And I think it's healthy from our point of view. But I think there's a focus, right? There's a focus on social media content where coaching might not be at the heart, if that makes sense. And I know everybody's going to go, oh, he's a coach, he's going to be at the heart and he's just trying to get his stuff out there. But if you're copying somebody's social media verbatim just about sometimes, it's cringe, absolute cringe. And it's noticeable.
I take it sometimes as a massive pat on the back. I've noticed it, of course. I take it as a massive compliment. Is that someone actually rates me that highly that they would copy an exact caption or a clip or whatever on my session. I take it as a massive compliment. And the guys in England who are flying just now, they're getting that daily. I don't get that daily. They get that daily, someone copying their stuff.
Yeah.
So they're probably sat at home thinking, I must be doing something right. But the self-belief you must have in yourself is to run your own session how you want to run it. If you think that's the correct way to coach, you stick with that. Don't change for someone else because they're doing it.
Well, that's what I was getting at the boy Josh earlier on. If somebody's coming into coaching and you like to have a wee look at different approaches, don't go like for like and copy.
You can't anyway, can you? You'll never be able to mirror what someone does. It's impossible.
I know. It sort of gets to me a wee bit though that maybe people claim it to be original.
But I don't see that often. I don't see many saying it's original.
No, I know, but the caption will be very similar to what you've done 2 days ago, and it's a wee bit cringe, to be honest with you. But anyway,
but you'll never fix
it. That's
why
I will never be involved in social media content ever. I don't want to be.
I don't think you can't control what people put out there.
No,
and I think as long as you're true to yourself and the coaching's brilliant in your own opinion, if you honestly think your product's good, you put whatever you want out there, because that's what the beauty of the game is, that it's an opinion still.
Yeah.
But you're right, the copying verbatim is poor. But again, it's a compliment. Keep doing it.
Okay. Content creators and football coaching, so similar type thing. Social media coaching organisations that take credit for players at academies and they haven't coached them in 6 months but say he's getting better every week. So I think that was just a follow-on comment that we had made in our production statement. But
see the thing I'm not 100% keen on, and it's something I never do, is that I don't put out there that such and such is signed in an academy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that because I don't want it to seem that I was the guy to get them there. So there's so many other voices and coaches that's managed to get the player to that point. So I don't put out a post saying Joe Bloggs is signed for Rangers. He's improved massively in 6 months since he's worked with ballers. I'll never put that, because it wasn't just me that got him there. There was multiple voices and coaches that have got him there. So I'll never do that.
It'd be interesting though. Just had a thought there. It'd be great.
My followers would go up.
No, I know. However, do you think that would increase your business?
It does.
Do you think it would increase your business?
Yeah. Do you know why? Because people think that, I need to get myself in there.
Fear of missing out again.
FOMO is big. FOMO's massive.
Well, I was thinking there it'd be interesting if you'd done well done to so-and-so's mum and dad for producing this human being and delivering them at every session.
Oh, yeah. That's a different one.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Well done to them for actually the production of the human being.
That'll be copied next week if we did that one.
Well done to so-and-so's mum and dad for getting them at every session and then getting them signed with whoever.
Might get another sponsor there.
That's mad, isn't it? Honestly. But what I would say is that from a coaching point of view, there is multiple different journeys that people go on, and there's people that cross the path that make a massive impact in a short space of time.
Yeah.
There's people that are with you for a long period of time. Everybody's journey is different. Cammy Bell spoke about that. And
it's never just one person that's got you to that position, is it?
100%.
It's the mum and dad probably don't get nowhere near enough credit.
No,
they're the ones that seem to get forgotten about, and they're the ones that have got to get out of bed on the Saturday mornings, absolutely lashing down with rain, the car, the journey, them to juggle multiple children around, and the finances. The parents never get the credit, and the parents are the main factor for getting the player even just to training. So
100%.
Yeah. Well done, mums and dads. There you go.
There you go. So that was a change in how I thought that was going to go. But anyway,
Do you think it was going to go controversial?
Wee bit.
Why?
Don't know, because I see it. Every coaching organisation that you see online are saying, well done to signing for Man United, well done for signing for so-and-so, well done to... And they're a private coach.
Yeah, well, let's put it... I'm going to ask you a question then.
Go.
Give me your honest answer, please.
Go.
Okay.
I'm trying to make myself not look fat here.
I'll put a baggy one on.
Mate, this is...
I'm a fat rider.
I think we need to straighten my back up. Go on.
When they put the post out, generically, are they doing it to recognise the player because the player will get shown that? Or are they doing it to gain more traction?
Both. Both. Has to be both. I think the main purpose is business, to gain more business. Because if these young parents who have children at the ages of 5, 6 year old are then looking to get their child into football, and they've seen this plastered that so-and-so's away to X, Y and Z teams, I'm not even going to mention teams across the central belt of Scotland and beyond, then they're going to go, well, that looks promising because they're going there all the time. They're getting people into the system all the time.
So are we blinkered for not doing that? Because I swore I would never do it.
Maybe.
I swore I've never done it in 3 years.
Maybe, but we've got a podcast.
I know, but I don't sell myself on it.
No, I know, but we're saying that we've put multiple players into the system as well.
Oh, I think
via the podcast
I think
as well.
it'd shock people how many we have, but I don't want to put it. I don't like putting it out there to say they came to Ballers and they've changed their career. I hate all that nonsense because it's never one person, ever.
I know, but do you think you're losing business out of that?
Oh, maybe. But I'd rather have morals. I'd rather stay true to myself and say, I swore I would never do it, Tom.
I know, but do you not think you're cutting your nose off a wee bit there? Probably.
Probably, yeah.
Probably. So that's maybe something worth looking at, just highlighting players, maybe going a particular
to go back a few years now.
Section and highlight some players. That's interesting.
Yeah,
that.
there we go.
Okay, so that's us called out the social media side of things. That was 20 minutes. Excuse me. Let's look at the structure of youth football in Scotland. The structure of youth football in Scotland. Do the current formats of 4v4, 5v5, 7v7, 9v9 and 11v11 actually suit our players' development?
I want you to answer, and I don't mean just to pass the book on, but you're quite opinionated on this. Where for me, I think the current format is working as best it can do, but I know your view on it, so I want you to have your opinion and use our age group as a good example because we're at that real important stage of the transition into men's football. So you go ahead and what you currently think.
Okay.
So what stage? Name the formats out for them just now.
Right, so we currently are 9v9 at a 2014 age. So that's under 12s. 12-year-old. Coming up for 12-year-old. 9v9. Now, facilities are horrendous. And unless you are playing on grass regularly, which then that'll be off because of the weather, there's very limited 9v9 resources. Now people are going to say, well, you can bring the goals in. If you're at a bigger club, then you can have them on a third and you can use 2/3 and then you can shorten the pitch and all the rest of it. I just feel that the facilities for one isn't working. They don't work for me. Why is it that when we play academies, it's 8v8? Why? Why is it different? Can you tell me why it's different? Because you're in an academy.
They go under a different organisation. So the SYFA aren't in control of the academy system. The CAS system runs separately to the SYFA. So they've got their own rules. Okay. But I'd like to think the SFA would be like, here's how it must look.
Right, somebody's going to come back at me and say, well, it'll be a maximum of 9v9. You could actually play 7v7.
Who can?
Well, at our age.
Oh, you're not meant to, though, are you?
No, you're not.
You know, but
somebody will come back at me and say that.
Our chat was, because we discussed this before in the car, right? Our chat would be, for me, I think you should be given the option, depending on your facilities and your current maximum scores. If you've got 15 players, say, and you can only have facilitate one fixture, 7v7's no real good because there's a lot of players missing out there.
Correct.
So I'd like the option to go 7v7, 9v9 or an 8v8. I'd like the option to have any free and then both teams agree on it. If you bring in a ref into that, the ref's been told, right, it's going to be an 8v8 fixture. Brilliant. But I think facilities-wise, everyone's normally working on a third of a pitch. It's very rare you have them bigger than that, especially Astros. You're a third of a pitch, so you can't do 11v11 games. Impossible. because the pitch size is a joke.
I understand that.
If you want to train it, you can't do 11v11. So I think what you should have is an option to have maybe 3 different formats that lead us nicely into a 9v9 game. I think that's what you need to have. And if facilities are always going to be the problem behind this, by the way. Facilities are always going to be the problem.
I know, right, and I understand that, but is going from 5v5 to 7v7 the right thing to do? Why do we not go to 6v6?
What benefit would that have,
Well,
in your opinion?
let's say we quarter the pitch for 6v6 rather than go thirds. Tighter spaces, obviously one less on the pitch, so therefore more people getting touches of the ball in the game format. I also think managing a team and growth of a team is very, very difficult. If you're at a grassroots club, which I know 90% of the people who's probably watching this will be at a grassroots club, community club, they'll have multiple teams. But if you have people like we are privately and we've created a team, it's difficult to bring people in, because if you're trying to aspire for everybody to get in the academy like we are, for example, then those players that's coming to us privately would probably be in the loop of the team anyway. We would invite them in. Mm-hmm. So it's very difficult when you're transitioning from 7v7 to 9v9 to then grow that to then become 11v11. If we went 6v6 and then went to 9v9, so you'd have if it's 6v6, have a squad of 9, and then the 2 9s teams would then join to become 11s. Mm-hmm. Would it go to 8s? Would it be 6v6 or 8v8? That would probably be more suitable to me, and that would be still on a third of a pitch. So if you quartered the pitch and then you thirded the pitch, that'd be easier to manage, and then go to a full pitch. Quarter, third, full.
What's your opinion on the way England's gone with the 3v3?
So I had a wee look at this earlier on, right? And they are currently going 3v3, 5v5, 7v7. Now, I think that's probably more aligned with what academy football looks like. Now, we spoke about the caste system being different, and they've got different rules, so they think their players are better than 8v8. Don't understand the rationale behind 8v8 and we need to do 7v7 or 9v9. I don't get it. Surely it's a governing body that puts out a set of rules to say nobody should be jeopardised or to any detriment. Mm-hmm. So England are going their academy route because 3v3 will encourage more touches of the ball at very early stages, and it will be 1v1 dominant. Mm-hmm. That's their logic. And then they'll throw a goalie into it and an extra player. So I think that I'm all for it. I think
the problem that you're going to have to coach that in your training sessions is that if you want to run the game, because obviously everyone wants to finish on a game or start with a game, there must be a game involved in your training session, mustn't there?
100%.
If you've got 21 children and a third of a pitch, and you want to run 3v3s and you've got 2 coaches, I think you're in for a hard time, man. I think you're in for a tough time to manage that. Because think of the facilities.
I know, but then I'd be thinking, are you telling me that's going to be a money maker because you need eyes on, more eyes on, and the English FA are going to make more money out of that, and that's why they went to 3v3?
It's nothing to do with money at all.
Right.
I think it's the right decision for more touches. I'm all for 3v3s.
So how do you manage it?
Yeah, I think you can manage it. With 2 coaches, I don't think you can manage it. There's someone resting all the time. Half your squad's resting. You've got 12 players playing at once if you run 2 pitch with 2 coaches. There's 9 players resting with this 21 player format. But
would you not say that 1v1s and 2v2s in a rotational format would be the games that they played rather than a 3v3?
But I think they still need to learn how to play a 3v3. What the English FA are trying to do, it'll be on that definitely, is they're trying to remove the coaching aspect of it and let the players learn the game. They think the game should be the teacher. I'm all for that. That's my philosophy as well, is that there should be minimal interaction during the game, especially a 1v1. There'll be minimal interaction from a coach to say, you must do this or I would do this. I think they're trying to make the game be the learner. I love that. I love that they're trying to empower children. But I think they're making it a little bit difficult for the coaches. You'll need a lot of coaches for the format to be 3v3. I think it goes to under 9s or under 10s, doesn't it, in England?
So the format is...
What age do they transition to 5s?
Under 8s.
Right. So really young pre-academy ages at a 3v3 format, and there'll be loads of kids because that's the introduction to football. I think it's going to be really hard to manage that group.
It'd be interesting to see what the sort of appetite is.
It'd be good to listen to English coaches actually on how they're getting on.
Are they then predominantly going to have a parent-led, so have a lead coach with parents?
Possibly, yeah.
Obviously have their PVG and then just have loads of cones and markers rather than scoring into nets.
And I think another way of looking at it is it'll definitely aid in their development during the game. I just don't know if it'll help with the technical side of it. I think it will really aid the game knowledge in a 3v3 situation. I think it will. I think there'll be loads of rotations. I think they'll get really good at it. I think they'll be really strong at it. Scotland will follow this in 5 years' time, by the way. The SFA will catch on to this in 5 years. If it works in England,
I think so.
In 5 years' time, Scotland will bring it in. Right, let's move on.
Okay.
I don't even know if we nailed that down, but...
So the structure, for me... I think we really need a root and branch look at what do we want to get out of this. It might not be going to 3v3. I personally don't think that would be a good thing.
Okay.
As you say, for a coaching point of view, I think 4v4 you're still getting plenty of touches of the ball. You're young enough to be getting on it and going beating a man.
Pretty sure it's the same size pitch anyway.
Aye.
I think a 3v3 is the same size pitch as what a 4v4 is.
So then I think from that, the 5-a-side thing, moving on, I just think the size of the pitch and then how you help coaches and clubs manage that transition process. Because I know for a fact, and this is going to be, people will know this anyway, loads of tier 4 teams have folded, loads of them. Some are still going, obviously, that would be, say, low development, because... It's just that transition. They've taken the best of the tier 3s, put them in with the tier 2s. They're now a high intermediate team. They're trying to bring them on. There'll be people cut adrift. Where do they go? It's just difficult. And you want to keep everybody in.
Do you think the formats should be based more on ability rather than age?
Yes. 100%.
So let's talk about our low development there in that tier 4.
Yeah.
Do you think they should maybe stick at 5v5s to start with? Just to learn how to play the game and let the game be the learner, as we've just said, let that be the teacher, and then as they progress into tier 3 go 7v7.
Yes, but people's pride is hurt when they're not doing the same as their peers at the same age. Coaches' pride, players' pride, everybody's...
I think that is players' pride, Sam. I don't think it's tier 4 players thinking, why is my best mate in school a tier 1 player and I'm a tier 4? I don't think they're like that.
They know just now is what I'm going to say.
I think it's the parents more than anything else. I think the parents get hung up on it too much. They hate the label. They hate being labelled as low development, but as we've said previously, see if you weren't in that tier system, your kid's not getting a game anywhere.
I know.
You'll be on the bench forever. It's so silly, man. We need the tier systems to be in place.
I know, and I think the ability thing that you speak about there, we spoke about it in the car and I sort of forgot about it. But I think we need a root and branch look at what suits us, what's better for everybody. Is the leagues lazy?
No.
Are the leagues lazy to say, look, do you know what I'm going to do? See that for 6 months additional, then before you transition from 5s to 7s, you're going to play 5-a-side still.
That's not the league's prerogative, mate. That's not up to the league. That's up to the SYFA to sort out. The league just follow a guideline, as you know. But you're right. I think that's a great idea, by the way, is that you format it on ability level. Now, I'm not saying that a tier 1 8-year-old plays 11-a-side. Mm-hmm. I don't mean that, obviously. I'm not stupid. I am stupid, but I wouldn't have that. They stick at 5 still. But I would definitely, a 12-year-old tier 1 should maybe transition to 11s.
Well, you're not allowed to.
You're not allowed to?
No, you're not allowed to.
Why?
You're not allowed to play 11 aside.
At 2014s?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because you're not allowed.
Yeah, but why?
No, you're just not allowed.
You're not answering the question.
No.
Why aren't you? No, but tell me what your opinion is why you're not allowed.
Well, I don't know.
Is it because
You're
they're not
just not
mature
allowed.
enough? The body's not mature enough. But in 3 months they will be mature enough.
Aye. So
Right, okay.
in 90 days they'll be all right.
Right, okay.
90 days will be fine. I don't know. I don't know who makes the rules up, mate, right? But it's bonkers. I'm sure Cundurrit got done before Christmas. I remember I saw something. They played against somebody else. Dragged across the coals was seemingly what happened because they played a 11-a-side game, bounce game with somebody else at the same age, I think it was. Honestly, I just think that there's so many sticking points. If we were to go into an academy, play a year down. So again, what's good enough for an academy isn't good enough for grassroots.
Yeah, so an under 12 can go and play an under 11 quite comfortably.
But you can't play a 12-year-old against a 13-year-old, but you can in an academy.
That's bonkers, by the way.
I just don't get it. There'll be insurances, there'll be instances where people have been hurt, badly hurt, and I understand. Understand certain situations, but
is the reason for maturation in grassroots, or is the reason because of ability level that you can't do it? And it's definitely not ability level. When you go and play in under 13s or under 12s, right, and you get done for it for playing 11 aside, are you getting fined because the ability level's too high, they're saying, because they're a year more advanced? Or is the maturation too much because they're grown a year more?
See, in any walk of life, mate, risk assessment comes into play.
Yeah, but this one going back to the academy system, is that you're allowed to play a year down because they're saying they should have the same ability as what you should.
So a guy that's got the same coaching badge as me, that works in an academy, is a better risk assessor than me to say that his boys can then go and play against my grassroots team. Because let's say if I'm an advanced player, an advanced team, and then we go and play an intermediate team at the year up, what's wrong with that? Tell me, on the face of it, what's wrong with it?
No, there's nothing wrong with it.
But it is forbidden. Like forbidden. So you've got 9v9, you're trying to grow your squad. This is where all this comes in. You're trying to grow your squad, you're trying to get players game time as much as possible, but you are forbidden to break that structural rule. You must wait till June. You must.
Someone needs to come out and tell us. Because we haven't got the answers, so someone needs to tell us. Give us some clarity.
It'll be for protection.
But you can go and play kids a year younger and not get on this. You can go into an academy, under 12s can play in under 11. If there's a top under 10 performing, he could play against
2
you
years.
2 years up. But it's alright because he's technically good enough. There's 2 years difference in maturation.
So
bonkers.
So I think there needs to be a real look at that. A real look. Because again, we talk about facilities. You're going to need to book a full pitch to play 9-a-sides anyway. Mm-hmm. And then, so a third day it's sitting free.
Exactly.
What's the point?
No, you're right, man.
Why do we not just get a game on? More people get game time. Maybe no touches of the ball because we're going to
bigger pitch,
bigger number of players and all that sort of stuff. But come on, have a wee bit of faith in the coaches. Putting people into what you would think would be reckless situations.
That's a bugbear, Ozzy. I can see how it gets to you.
I'm pissed off, man, to be honest. Anyway.
That can't be made for kids on YouTube now.
Doesn't matter.
Right, okay.
Can you improve a player's level? Can you improve a player's level?
Yeah.
So, got a caption saying we're working on their decision making, but the decision has been made for them by setting the drill to tell them to turn, move, bounce here, bounce there, turn there, go there. Day 6, keep it ups and day a Cruyff turn.
I hate them captions, man. I hate them captions. Right.
Social media again, isn't it?
It's God, man.
It's killing us. Focus on social media today. We're not making the game better here, by the way, we're talking about this. But anyway.
Working on decision making, but the drill's set up for the decision to already be made for them. So what decision making?
Contradiction. Big contradiction.
Because see, the only way they can work on decision making is put them in a game situation.
Tell you this, right? Do you think you could take a development team and make them into an intermediate team in a year?
Yeah. Regardless of age.
Yeah?
Yeah. Technically, but yeah.
Do you think you could take intermediates into advanced?
Mm-hmm.
We've done a lot of that, to be honest.
I think a lot of people could.
Do you think you could take a junior team and make them better?
See,
as in a senior juniors?
No.
Why not?
Because I think that it becomes different when they hit the adult stage.
So
where I think some adults are happy, which is fine. I never played at a very good level as an adult, ever, not really. Where I think you're happy
fitness
playing.
Was my problem, and I needed to train more.
And I think some people are happy playing a junior and they don't really want to go into the leagues. So there's a big difference there. See, with a kid, every kid you're working with is hungry for something. Now, we talk about the desire. There's different levels of that. The gap's huge with someone who actually genuinely wants to make it and someone who just flirts with the idea of becoming a professional football player.
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
What about an amateur team? With young players in it?
I reckon under 20s. See, when you go to the under 20s leagues, I reckon you could make a few in there. Because they're still hungry.
Think you can get them pro? You scout, don't you?
Oh, there's some gems, by the way. There's some gems out there.
I know.
In that, see I don't know what it's called, so sorry. But is it the under 20? Is it not the Lowland League under 20s? Is it? Are they're just the pro clubs, aren't they? That go in the Lowland League? No.
No, it's the.
See, Cumbernauld Colts and that. They're under 20s Lowlands, aren't they? So sorry, I apologise, Barry, because I don't actually know that system too well. But the under 20s, the under 20 league before they hit like.
But you went to watch a boy that I recommended, didn't you?
Clydebank, yeah.
Yep, Clydebank under 20s. Top game.
Top. And he's actually playing with the first team at juniors now.
Yep.
He was top.
I know. So there's some gems there. Do you think you could make these 17, 18-year-old boys?
I do, because I think they're the hungry ones as well. I think they're probably a little bit disappointed they've slipped through the net. And they're probably like, how haven't I had the chance?
So that's that hunger, desire, etc., where you speak about maybe no got their shot. Some will just fade away.
Some do slip through the net, man.
Oh,
it's horrendous for it.
There's copious amounts of scenarios where people have been outstanding.
We have boys who work for us who've said that they couldn't believe some of them were in at the academy system still at the age of like under 18s and under 19s it's turning to be.
Yeah.
But there's something like, how are they even in there? And then you watch like his under 20s junior like feeder for the junior team, and you simply. He's better than him by a mile. How isn't he in the system yet?
It's strange. And so anyway, I just thought that would be interesting. What's making coaches not make these transitions yet? And I'm not being harsh on any coach at all, by the way. But my next point is, who's coaching the coaches? So it follows on from that, right? So we're saying there's formative years at primary school. We would say you can make players better. When they get into their teens, there's a maturation aspect that comes, and maybe they're not saying their development halts, but maybe their technique and things don't get quite as good as what it was when they were developing younger, if that makes sense.
I want to put this another way, right? Because you're talking about how the coaches are getting coached.
Yeah.
See, the players do extra to get better. Agree with that?
Yes.
The coaches aren't doing extra to get better at coaching. So
explain.
So I'm going to Crystal Palace in May, right? To their academy to watch what they do. I went to Sunderland. I've been to Manchester. I've been at Liverpool's academy, I've been Man United's academy. I've been all over the UK right now, and I'm trying to feed more into an international stuff to go and see what they do abroad. I want to do that. So
you just want a holiday? Another one?
What's it, London? You kidding me on?
The international jet setter.
So I'm doing more. So I'm trying to make me better because I'm nowhere near the level I want to be at. So if you're not grassroots, because
come on, mate, that's where we were heading.
No, we're not. We're talking about private stuff here as well.
Right, go on.
If you run a business, how can you get better? You can't just watch stuff on Instagram and get better. It's impossible. I need to see it in hand. I need to see it face to face on what someone's doing. A player does extra, so why can't a coach do extra? It's not about doing your A license, mate, because you're not going to get better delivering technical football players. Never. You'll never do an A license and produce a better football player. You'll be tactically more savvy, but you can't make them better because there's not one aspect of the A license, B license, C license. There's technical work. It's all tactical. There's not one course just now that UEFA provide that can make you better to deliver technical culture. Not one.
I said this to you, didn't I? Went to the C licence and I'd done a wee bit of ball mastery before shooting, and it was the only ball mastery I saw.
Yeah, and everyone looked at you as if you had two heads.
Aye.
What's this? What's this wizardry?
What's this? What is this? Don't get me wrong, there was good guys in there as well, man, and they were doing good stuff.
No,
but
it's all
it was the
tactical.
first time I'd seen a step over.
You're not assessed.
First time I'd done anybody done a step
You're
over
not
was
assessed
in
on technical work.
Aye.
And when we had Saul on the podcast, that's what he said. There's not one course to deliver technical work. So you've got to kind of guess. But when you need to go and see what others are doing in the academy system, because at the end of the day, we can do what we want, but they could step into the academy system and the training will be different. So you need to try and ready them to go in there.
Right, so let's look at this from another relevant point of view. And I'm sure we've spoke about this on our session planning and various other podcasts, that how does a intermediate coach can get their players better? Because I know there'll be a load of passing in there, passing, receiving and shooting, but any time anybody comes and watches us, is they say that's different. No matter if they watch the team, watch private, watch whatever, they just say it's different. And where I would go with that is it's like individual training, individualised training.
Tom, I'm honestly so proud of the way we do that, you know. Like, honestly,
that's what everybody says. It's like a one-to-one coming to use.
I want to make sure that every group session has the one-to-one element still. Now, listen, we don't have a coach for every player that attends. Last night we had 13 players there, and there was 3 coaches, so the ratios were excellent. It's like 4.5 to 1, isn't it? Basically, yeah. Great ratios for kids.
You'll not get that in many places, to be honest.
You won't get it. You won't get it. So we're trying to have the one-to-one aspect still. And I'm really proud of the way we do it. I'm very proud to be different. No one's doing it like that, and that's fine. We could be doing it wrong. But if we can't be doing it wrong if people are paying for one-to-ones anyway. So you're always getting the one-to-one aspect. I love to stop the session sometimes and say, can we manipulate our body another way? We're probably not getting that in group sessions. So we've got that. So when we talk
but you have got a word in somebody's ears because there's 3 years on the pitch.
So you can walk around and say, listen, we done it last night. First thing you said, go and have a chat with the attackers, mate, see if we can get more of a tune out of them. That's what we done. So when we done the 1v1 drills with finishing, I said, lads, I wonder if you can just shift in one way. I don't know, one of the boys who I do one-to-ones, I said, I want you to do that Mbappe turn. And he'd done it, bang, bang, top corner. It's got it on video. Brilliant.
Yeah.
So we're different in terms of we want the session to look like a one-to-one, but I want to go back to the coaching point, Tam, sorry, is that I've always had the point of the need to have value for money. We're not cheap, but there's nothing cheap in the world anymore. So we're not cheap, but I need them to have value for money.
Right.
And that's why I think it's good that we have the ratios.
Right, I just want to talk about, when we spoke about the coaches, coaching the coaches, I think that there needs to be a whole, we've spoken about this before regarding, there needs to be a curriculum. There needs to be a curriculum for coaches to follow and then shape their sessions. I think there's not enough ball mastery. I don't think there's enough of an emphasis in 1v1. Really don't.
I think there is. On 1v1, there's not enough on ball mastery.
I don't think so.
Is this grassroots talking about? Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, maybe
I don't think there is.
Right, okay.
And I think you would see instantly a buy-in regarding, well, I've done it, I've witnessed it. I take a wee session.
See when you invite players in. So I'm not going to name the session because I don't want to do that. I can tell who's been coached by us. I could watch this. We've done it. We've both been in attendance for this. I can tell who's been with us because they handle the ball a little bit differently. Not better, by the way. Not always better. They handle it differently. And they're very aware of body movements, body feints, protection of the football, multiple touches using all surfaces of the foot. I know they've been with us. And I've always wanted that. That was the thing I said. I want that DNA almost. I want them to have that DNA. Like, wow, I know where he's been.
Yep.
Bit of ego there from me, by the way. But I think that's going to stand them in good stead because nearly every boy we've fired into the system now. Yeah, we'll put this on Instagram, by the way. Nearly every boy I've fired into the system now have stayed.
Yes.
Because they handle the ball.
So I think a curriculum, we were talking about root and branch, is the structure of games format fit for purpose? Surely that should be analysed.
See the curriculum,
and it's not just SFA at Hampden or the SYFA wherever they are in Hampden. Let's get a forum to get this right, because there's people with the game at heart, the best interest of the game at heart.
Mate, you
that want to feed in.
Imagine if you had all the top coaches, right, in Scotland come together and say, the SFA employee, and say, we haven't got the money to give you loads of money. We haven't got any money to feed your wages. But we want you lot
feed into a
to
forum.
Build a technical curriculum. Can you imagine what we'd produce in 2 years' time? The level of player.
Yep.
If you had the top coaches from all of Scotland and you said, boys, use a task, or women use a task with delivering a curriculum, because right now, people might not know this, Tam, there's not one bit of information from the Scottish governing body of football for technical session deliverance. There's not one. You can't find anything online from the SFA to help you football in technical deliverance of a session. Not one.
Okay. What about with your badges stuff though?
There's nothing technical in it.
Okay. Well, that brings me on to the SFA app. 2 years out of date. You go and you see what the format for 2014 is like. You need to look at 2012s, 2013s. It's all out of date. It's all out of sync. I just go to the next year. Why? Why is that? Surely that can be automatically updated by AI or some software. Whoever provides the software, just get it right. So that I'm looking, the pitch size is right, the time that we play is right, the number of bodies in the squad is right. Because not everybody enters at Fun Fours, mate. Some people start a team at sevens.
I started 5,
and they don't know. They don't know. They maybe go to a wee local team. Are we out in the sticks somewhere? They go, I'm going to start a wee team. Where do I go for this information? All right, I'm going to go start a 2017 team. Or so you should be playing 4v4 because it's so out of date. No, this should be 7v7. Come on, man. Look as if you care. Look as if you give a shit. Honestly. Everybody. Get it right, man.
Where does the money go? Where does your money go, do you think? Because that's surely got to play a part in it, eh? Your registration fee.
I know that's something so small, right?
Is it small, though?
But
is it small? Because that's the start of it, isn't it?
That's where you're told to go to reference what your game format should look like.
I think that's the start of you losing confidence in your governing body.
Well, that app should be produced to go at. Do you know what? Here's a wee session that you see it online. FIFA technical director at this, that, and next thing, and they put on a wee session. It's a 1v1 drill or something like that. Surely the SFA can feed into that app and say, look, well, we think that. Somebody grow the grassroots game, because there's loads of money that goes into it. Loads of money that goes into it through coaching badges. And here's another thing. Scotland's going to World Cup. Where's the new pitches? So it's absolutely cats and dogs outside. Hellish weather. Grass parks are off. So first time back after Christmas. Second week back after Christmas. Pitches are off. Where is the investment of the money?
Did they claim there would be an investment?
Do they need to? Surely we go like that. Listen, we need to do a wee bit here. We need to do more. We need to do more.
But are they aware they need to do more, Tom?
Well, this is it. So everybody talks about this.
Are they current with the situation?
I don't know who it is. I don't know. Is it certain guys that are and females that are in league secretary positions that form the SYFA, and then a few dinosaurs kicking about as well? I don't know. People are going to come at me and go, oh no, they do a good job, they do this, they do that. everybody can always do more in every job that they've got, every bit, and they're relying on volunteers to make Scottish football better.
And they don't even know what they're doing, half of them, because they haven't been taught how to do anything.
Right, I'm going to move on because I'm fuming here. The fear of calling a kid good. We have completely flipped the narrative of youth football, where the focus in the 90s was kids disregarded if you weren't good enough. Now we have went to a stage where we are petrified to label someone at being good at something in case it upsets those who aren't.
You'd agree with that, eh? It's completely flipped, because when we played, obviously you're a bit older than me, but when I played, if you weren't good enough, you honestly never got a game time. So don't worry if your child's currently in a tier 4 team. He's playing football. They're playing football in a game they love.
Yep.
And regardless of your aspirations for what your child does, unfortunately, you're not going to determine what they do. Your job as a parent is to support them and get them there. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying. You deserve to be praised, but don't overpitch them. Mm-hmm. Because the good kids...
But we can't be not calling out excellent.
If you do something well in your job and your boss doesn't praise you for it, you're looking elsewhere. Or you think, well,
don't start me in my work. Don't start me in my work. But I get what you mean.
You're never in.
I get what you mean. You relax. Reality check in Scottish football.
What do you mean?
So there was a game a couple of weeks back, St Mirren versus Motherwell. 5 out of 22 were Scottish. 5 out of 22.
Is that a decent ratio though?
What?
Do you think that's a good ratio in the common game right now in 2026? I don't think that's a bad ratio.
No. Well, we had a game at the weekend and there was only one Scottish player.
No, that's a problem.
One Scottish player, and that was the top two. That was the top two.
See, with this St Mirren Motherwell one, I'd probably expect 5, Tam.
Well, I'm going to tell you who is excelling unbelievably regarding the ratio. John McGlynn. He played last weekend, and in his squad of 19, I think it was, 3 were English. The rest were Scottish.
No way.
100%. I'll show you.
Wow.
He is flying, mate.
Wow. He's got them playing as well.
I would love to go in and see what he's doing. I'd love an invite in to go and see what he's up to. Because if he can take a Scottish team, now Scotland's got talent, we keep saying that. He's worked at Celtic, he's worked in various different jobs in Scotland. He knows what he's up to. He knows what he's doing. To produce a team to go into the top 6 in Scotland, and the squad has only got 3 English players in it. And by the way, 2 of them were on the bench. It was like one English player started. Honestly, I looked at it before we came in.
See when you said Scotland's got talent.
Aye.
I agreed. Remember when we have had this chat?
100%.
So obviously I came out after the Celtic Rangers game, remember? And I got pelters for it.
Yep.
Because I made a statement that the standard of the league hasn't been great this year. I don't think anyone can really disagree with that. I don't think anyone, even Hearts, who are flying, by the way, and Derek McInnes deserves all the credit in the world. The standard of football they're playing isn't great, but they're getting results, and that's what matters. Agree with that. Yeah, but when I made the statement about the standard of the league, I still stick by that the standard of the league isn't fantastic. The standard of football on show from the majority of the clubs in the top flight isn't brilliant.
I know, but Motherwell fans will come on and absolutely kill you now.
Not at all. They're the best football team in Scotland just now in terms of how they play.
And Falkirk,
yeah. So the standard of the league isn't great. And when I said about Mikey Moore being the shining light in that fixture, don't get it confused, because if the guy was Portuguese, I'd have said it as well.
Yeah, I know, but the other thing about that is where's Celtic's James Forrest replacement? Where's the player for Auchenhowie busting into the Rangers team? There just doesn't seem to be anything at the moment, and maybe that's just a wee lull where the clubs are at, transitional periods in the academy. I don't know. I really don't know. But what stuck out for me was that John McGlynn, to have all these Scots. Now I'd love to know the background of all the players. Obviously I don't know any of them. But to know the background of them, because I know he took one for Cumbernauld Colts.
Wow.
The right back. Some player, by the way, he was on the bench right enough. But John McGlynn stumbled on him, liked to look at him, signed him.
And maybe that's all it takes, is that guy to actually believe in you, right?
Well, maybe it's the coaching, mate. Maybe it's the coaching. Maybe he saw an absolute athlete that can handle the ball properly and go, he's a right back. He can get up and down for me. If I can tell him a wee bit more technical detail regarding positional sense, what I'm looking for from him, if I can see him in 1v1 duels, whatever it may be, he signed him. Unreal. Honest to God. So that's just a wee thing for all the kids that watch as well. Don't think that...
It ain't over.
Never over. Never.
Yeah, it's not over.
Never. Just a last couple, right? The underestimation of the coaching role. We underestimate how important our job is as a football coach. If you're getting paid, then you should be striving to ensure that they are going to have every opportunity to become something. Some use it as a quick bit of income.
I agree. If you're gonna... If you get paid for any role, I believe, and I was taught this from a young age, is that you give everything. Regardless, you give everything as if it's your own. In terms of coaching, give everything as if it's your own child. Because you're getting paid for it. If you're a volunteer, you're still putting yourself out there. No one's expecting you to turn these kids into Messi. But you're there as the guide. Guide them on the way. Have the enthusiasm. You can't... We could have had a crap day, right? Your missus has been nipping your head all day. You've been in work all day. The boss has been doing your head in all day. Whatever it is.
Traffic.
Especially Glasgow. You turn up to that session, you need to put it to one side.
Yeah. Okay, last wee touch. So we are looking at growth. Growth as a player, a coach, a child, but it only comes from trying to learn. How do players get better if it's the same drill? How does a coach get better if he doesn't have anything to learn? So we spoke about that earlier on, didn't we? Doesn't flow too good, that. You can clip that, edit it. Podcast culture. Here we go. Podcasts and plagiarism, insular behaviour, on the face of it, good for the game, underneath self-gain. If we were to say that we are shutting it down tomorrow, we can be happy with our body of work to help people, I think. I think that's just, I had a comment there to go at, we are getting nothing for this. Possibly a wee bit of business, but we're putting ourselves out there just to try and make the game that wee bit better.
And sometimes we don't always hit the point.
Nah.
Sometimes we...
Because we're called out multiple times.
Obviously, if you remember, we are just two guys talking about football.
Well, that's the other statement was, why do we do this? And it's, we're volunteering this. I know we're sponsored by Gary, but it's purely to aid development of Scottish football.
And I think on the front of it, I think that's what we're doing. I don't think anyone can come at us and say they're just out here trying to nail people. That's not the case. If someone puts something on social media, I will call that out. If I put something on social media, someone will call me out. And that's the beauty of it again. Is that if someone doesn't agree with me, we'll have a healthy debate. It doesn't have to get aggressive. I don't have to get called an English beep. It doesn't have to be that way. You can disagree with my view on how we deliver a technical football player, but let's have a decent sit-down discussion about it. I'm all right with that. We are 100% aiding in the development of coaches and players through this podcast, and everyone knows that. Some people are doing other podcasts, which are great for the humour side of it. I love watching them as well. But when we're talking about football, we're out here trying to...
And we're not plagiarising anything.
Not once have we ever...
No plagiarising anything.
We have a strong opinion how the game should be played, and just now in the country it's not getting played to how I think the game should be. So if people want to listen to us, brilliant. If people want to slag us, brilliant.
See, just on the weather, right, just last thing. See, grass pitches versus Astro. We had a great game last weekend, right? It was first game back. Great game. It was a game of who's going to make the first mistake on the grass, rather than who's going to go by and make this excellent bit of skill. Get grass pitches in the bin. There you go. Thank you, everybody, for listening to our nonsense. And I hope, again, if you get anything from it, great. Interact with us in any way you can. But we appreciate everybody listening. Thanks again to Gary for sponsoring us. And thanks to the podcast studios in Glasgow, Mark and Cammy. But... catch you on the next one next week. Cheers.